Hello, it's Dr. Shelly of Shelly's Nursing Review and HETV on YouTube. And today's video is all about baby step number 1, how to get yourself an emergency fund. This is part of our Money Matters for Nurses playlist, in which we help nurses get their finances in order and build wealth. Remember our theme as we go through this video about baby step number 1 and building an emergency fund. Remember what our theme is. Our theme is 12 years a millionaire versus 12 years a slave. And we bounce off of Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps on how to build wealth. And if you don't remember the baby steps, because certainly this video is really addressing baby step 1, how to build an emergency fund. If you don't remember the baby steps, here they are. Baby step number 1, the video today, how to build your emergency fund. Baby step number 2 is paying off your debt. Baby step number 3 is getting that house and building a 3 months emergency fund. Baby step number 4 is investing in your 401k, 403b, Roth, IRA, 15% of your income. Baby step number 5 is getting a college fund for your kids or grandkids. Baby step number 6 is paying off your house. And baby step number 7 is building wealth, giving money away, and enjoying your life. And the average amount of time when you follow the baby steps the way they were intended is 12 years. Ask your girl. I watched it happen in my life. So remember, everyone, millionaire status does not mean that you make $1 million a year. It means that you take what you owe and subtract it from what you own. And if that number is $1 million or more, you're a millionaire. That is the definition of a millionaire. So today we are getting you on the road to your 12 years a millionaire instead of 12 years a slave. And the 12 years a slave directly relates to debt. Remember, the borrower is slave to the lender. Please, that's in the Bible, and that is fact. All right, now, let me remind you that as we approach this video, which is baby step number 1, how to build your emergency fund, you have to remember that the 7 baby steps to wealth after your 4 walls are secure and the IRS is where we started from. So if you didn't see last week's video or the week before that even about how to secure your 4 walls, what that means is that before you start anything in this 7 baby steps, you must make sure your mortgage or your rent is up to date. Your utilities, phone, light, gas, water is paid up to date. And most importantly, that you work out a plan if you owe federal, state, or local taxes, because they can go all up in you and take your shit. So we don't want that. We want you to get that set first. Make a plan. I've even gotten calls about you owing SBA loans from COVID days. Guess what? They work out a plan where you only pay $35 a month for 6 months, and then they work out another plan on what you can afford. Please hit me up on our brand new email, which is mm4nurses@gmail.com if you need direction or if you have an idea for this incredibly popular series. Now let's get started. We've got to get our million. Here we go. Baby step number 1, building an emergency fund, is not just hugely important. No, it can be life-saving or critical. Here's an example of some emergencies in my life that took me for a little whirlwind. Here we go. Funeral. Now you guys know I've been married 17 times. One of those ex-husbands of mine had a brother who unfortunately died at 53 years old. Oh my God, like it was horrible. He's a really great guy. And it was by huge surprise that as we had our family meeting with his side of the family, no one had money to help this funeral expense out except for me. Like, for real. Like, I was the only one there, not even blood kin, out of a fairly financially comfortable working class family, and not even that damn ex of mine had the money for his brother's funeral. That should open your eyes. And unfortunately, especially for Black and brown people, sometimes our people don't even have insurance. And more importantly, they may not even qualify for life insurance. Don't let that be you. Get it now. Car repairs. Oh, the engine light just came on. The battery just died because it's freaking 8 degrees outside. We know these things happen. We see it every day. It's infuriating and it just makes you feel some kind of way. Like back in the day, if I'm really honest, when my car broke down, which doesn't happen very much ever, but back in the day when I had nothing, I was in nursing school, that provoked tears. Like I'd cry, like that's really going to help me. I don't care. I cried. I get it. House repairs. Oh, in case you think I'm big baller, shot caller, got it going on, shit don't never fucking happen to me. Guess what I woke up to today? A broken furnace. Yes, having an emergency fund made me not really stress that much, except my whole life had to change because when I woke up, it was, what was it, 61 degrees in my house and it's 8 degrees outside. My little doggy and me were comfortable in bed last night because we sleep on a heated blanket. But when we got up and went downstairs to the house, the shit was freezing. I'm like, oh, hell no. So I literally had to call somebody to come look at it. And I'd like to thank God and give a shout out to Max for your honesty. And also I would like to give a shout out to Alex for his honesty. Both these gentlemen took a look at my furnace and gave me literally no bill, of course, because it came out. Your girl gave them a lot of money to just let them know how much I appreciate them. But these guys didn't even want to give me a bill. That's how honest they were. They will be getting shout outs from me because that's rare if existent at all. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Alex. Deductibles is another typical emergency, which really validates why baby step number 1 and building an emergency fund is critical. Deductibles, let's go through that because that happened to me too. This past summer, a tornado hit my house. Now, I got to tell you, the only big thing that happened was my tree split in half. Okay, so what? It didn't hit the house, thank you, Jesus. But I'm looking across the street and that house skipped that house, skipped that house's roof was taken off. And all I kept thinking was, oh my God, thank God my roof didn't get taken off. That's a hell of an expense that would have been covered by insurance because thank God we have it. But guess what? Everybody's got a deductible. Some deductibles are $1,000, some are $500. I don't know what yours are, but that sounds like an emergency fund to me. Now, I feel like terrible for the people in California with these fires. And then New Jersey's had fires. Canada has had fires. Texas has had fires. Florida and Texas has had hurricanes. Georgia has had snowstorms they're not ready for. In case you think you're not going to get hit, think again. I'm almost positive half the people that got hit in any of those scenarios didn't really see it coming. Now, the only thing I will say about all of it is I pray it brings us as a people closer, because somehow, some way, we weren't really giving that much love and attention to homeless people. And now the amount of homeless people has quadrupled. And we have no choice but to pay attention. And we also weren't paying attention to the fact that insurance companies were allowed to drop you and say, fuck you. Maybe now we'll pay attention. I don't have my hopes up because we got 4 years of crazy coming up, so we'll see. Dental. Oh, honey, if you got a toothache, a dental bill is a must. And our dental insurance sucks ass. That's if you even have any, because even if you have it, sometimes it's for preventative maintenance, not for I have a toothache, it's infected, I now have an abscess, that can even be life-threatening. I've got to get this tooth out or it's going to get ugly. Yeah, all that. That's expensive. Another reason for an emergency fund. How about a layoff or getting fired? Let me share something with you that you may not be ready for. I already know one person personally in my family that was fired from a blue-collar position, and they were told on the way out the door that they were a DEI hire anyway. Oh, maybe you're not paying attention. Diversity, equity, inclusion. Remember what Trump is doing. He's getting rid of all the DEI hires. So you might get fired. Just saying, might want to look out for that. And if it's not you, it could be your spouse. Even if you didn't get fired, maybe you got laid off. Perhaps you wanted to not put up with the bullshit from your boss anymore and you want to change jobs. Well, any and all transitions like that is going to take an emergency fund to ease the transition. How about illness with no PTO? This is huge. Let me just say right off the grip that your girl has had to donate PTO to friends at work who had none. And some of them have just started the job. They weren't even done with their 90 days yet. And so here I am trying to help ease their transition by giving them some PTO hours. It just depends. Some people have to have emergency surgery. Some have a premature baby. That's what I meant when I said the 7th step is build wealth and give. You want to be a blessing to someone. It feels so good to be able to help someone else. Remember that. Don't be selfish. Help others, okay? So if that's you and you don't have the PTO and you found out that your fibroids are making you bleed so much you need a hysterectomy yesterday, oh, please, an emergency fund would have came in handy. How about the latest? So many of you, and I really want you guys to tell me your stories. That's why we have our own email account, mm4nurses@gmail.com. I want to hear your travel stories, your travel nursing, your contracts just got canceled. You didn't even see it coming. You thought you were going to start a 12-week contract. They canceled it in the middle or whatever. The contracts aren't even paying like they used to. I've even heard from you guys that you used to get health insurance covered and now they're asking for $500, $2,000, $3,000 deductibles. Please tell me your stories. This is all the more reason why we need to really buckle down and get us an emergency fund. I hope that made sense. So now let's get you an emergency fund. We are tackling baby step number 1 on our way to the 7 steps to build wealth and become a millionaire in 12 years versus a slave for the next 12. And we know that this is just a starter fund. I want to emphasize that. A real emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of expenses. This is just a starter fund, but it's going to get you going. This starter fund, if you're already a nurse, needs to be $1,000. And if you're a student, you need to save $500. For number 3, the goal is to have this emergency fund in 30 days, nurses. but we can stretch it to 90 days. But you really should be trying to do the 30 days because you're a nurse. But if you've got yourself all spread thin and some things have happened, divorce, whatever, I swear to God, I get it. And so we're going to give you that 30 to 90 days, and we're going to see if we can help you speed it along with some suggestions we're going to make today. Part of baby step 1, building your emergency fund, is that I'm going to teach you and talk to you about cutting or pausing something, selling something, doing something to get some money. We're going to talk about that. Number 5, remember we're in the middle of our 100 envelope challenge contest, and there are 2 ways to do it. And this is how we're building our emergency fund. Many of you told me this week your books came in. Remember, the pink book is doing this challenge the way it's meant to be done, which is every single day. And today is January 20th. And so every single day we are putting money in this book. And if you remember, because I don't know if you remember, you go day 1, $1. Day 2, $2. Day 3, $3. Day 4, $4. Well, guess what? We're already on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We are on day 20. So if you know about day 20, you should have a $20 crispy bill in your last donation to this book. And if you've done that the way you're supposed to, some of you may have had to catch up because you got your book late, your total right now is already $210 towards your $1,000. You are on the right track. Now, I don't want you to worry if you can't do it and you are not where we are. It's okay. I have 2 challenges going on. This is a weekly challenge, and it's for my sisters and brothers who were like me, broke, busted, disgusted, and couldn't be trusted. So when you look at this book is a little different. We are going on a weekly basis. Week 1, not day 1. Week 1. Week 2, not day 2. Week 3, not day 3, and week 4, which we're in right now. So if you put the $1 for week 1, the $2 for week 2, the $3 for week 3, and the $4 for week 4, your total right now is $10. By the end of the year, you'll have $1,378. And I want this program to work for everyone, not just nurses. It's just nurses have always been my focus because I'm a nurse. So that is how we are saving money for our emergency fund in baby step 1. I want to tell you something you may not know. Now, I have had this policy my whole life, and it might sound a little hypocritical, so be it, because I am a healthcare provider. I've been a healthcare provider forever. I am also a consumer, and I am also an activist. And one of the things I'm most activist about is that I feel like we should have healthcare coverage for every single person in America. We don't, and so my way of rebelling against it, and it may sound really ghetto, fabulous, and ratchet, and I don't give a fuck, is that I don't pay medical bills. I never have. Well, President Biden, on his way out, as you know, today is his last day. Actually, it's already over. President Biden, in his executive action that might get reversed by yours truly, orange face, Cheeto Puff, President Biden made it so that the medical bills cannot go against your FICO score. That's important, because I have seen older people not pay their regular utilities in favor of paying a medical bill thinking their credit score is going to drop. My own dad. I need you to know to stop paying medical bills right now. Just stop it. They are not going to hit your FICO score. And even if they do, so what for now? It's really easy to build up that stupid ass FICO score. Yours truly has done it a lot. So just use that little tip if you are someone who's strapped with medical bills and you're looking at that as one of your monthly bills you got to pay. Stop it. Put that damn thing on hold for a minute till you get your shit together. Okay? Now, here's what I want to show you. One of the questions about how to start baby step number 1, the emergency fund that we need to build, is where should I keep this emergency fund? My personal opinion is you need to put it in an account you can't get to right away. In other words, it's not attached to an ATM card. I would rather you literally have to go physically in the car to the bank to get it, or to go online and physically do some things to get it. I don't want it to be literally transfer the money over. No, I want you to think long and hard before you hit up your emergency fund. And unless it's one of these very serious reasons, you ain't got no business going over there to that emergency fund. What did you just say? You said Beyonce coming. Taylor Swift concert. That's not an emergency, fool. Do not let me hear you hit up your emergency fund for some bullshit. Now, there are 2 suggestions I have. I'm looking for more, but the 2 that work for me, okay? We're talking about me. Number 1, right here in Northeast Ohio, is Faith Community United Credit Union. I love credit unions. I prefer Black owned only because we know that if you look up the Navy Credit Union, they were accused of racism in their mortgage lending types of actions. So I don't know what to trust and who to trust, especially with the whole DEI thing. And you can look it up yourself. It's in the news with the credit union. Something about, and this is again, just my opinion, something about they were found guilty of discriminating against who they gave loans to. Well, I eliminate that if, as an African-American, I go to an African-American credit union, and I also obviously cater to the majority-owned credit unions and banks because I don't have a choice. There's not many of us out here. So that Faith Community United Credit Union holds my emergency fund, and I got to go way down the way on Buckeye to even get it out. I don't have it attached to any ATM. I don't have any of that done. I just have money in there, and if I need it, I got to get in the car and go drive down the way to get it. And they're only open on certain days, which makes it even better. Because I got to think long and hard before I mess with this fund. Another option to some of you that may be more digitally inclined, and also to some of you who are really interested in a high yield savings account. You've been hearing that a lot. What that means is that the typical savings account in any kind of brick and mortar bank or standing bank, you know, like your Key Bank and your Huntington Bank and your Chase Bank, whatever bank, these interest rates, meaning adding money to your money, they're probably 1%, 2%, maybe less. And those banks typically have monthly minimum balance fees that they charge you, or just servicing fees, all this kind of nonsense. Listen to me. I think I found a good one for you. A high yield savings account at Capital One 360 performance savings account is something I highly recommend everyone to consider, because I'm going to consider it tomorrow morning. Look at what I found out. Number 1, Capital One 360 performance savings account, and you need to put that in the search engine just like I read it. Otherwise, you're going to get some scams. This Capital One 360 performance savings account is a very easy online bank that we can trust. Why can we trust it? Because it's Capital One. They've been out forever. I don't trust all the online banks. I do trust this one because, again, it's a popular bank. I've even had credit cards in them before, back in the day. They were reasonable. I need you to consider this savings account. There is no minimum balance or monthly fees. They even tie into Zelle, so you can send and receive through Zelle. Now, you know that I'm only a proponent of Zelle and PayPal. That's it. I don't do all the others. I don't trust the others. I've got millions to lose, and I want some reputable money accounts that I can kind of shift money back and forth. Cash App told me I made too much money and that they don't cover corporations. I'm like, well, then screw you. But this Zelle, I'm definitely a fan of Zelle. So the fact that the Capital One 360 Performance Savings Account, high yield savings account, which means they give you more interest than most banks, has Zelle. Oh, I was sold on that alone. Peep this though, something really cool. You can make deposits at CVS Pharmacy. What? Yes, you can literally make deposits into Capital One using any CVS pharmacy. That was off the chain, honey. I was like, oh, honey, I'm learning some shit today. Now, here's another issue. This high yield savings account will give you 4.25% interest on your savings. So your savings is making money. They're not nibbling at it with fees. That's pretty fucking great. And I will tell you up front, it's a variable rate, so it could go up or down. But with the competition of high yield savings account, it's been going up. Did I mention? I don't know if I mentioned. Did I mention no fees? Okay, I'm just saying. Let's think about that. I need that in my life. Just saying. Now, I want to draw your attention to number 4 in baby step number 1, emergency fund building. Here you see I said cut, pause something, sell something, do something. This part of my board has a lot of shit you can use to go get you some money. One of the things that I have done and probably will do this week, because one of the things that's helping me is helping you. So I think you and I are going to do this together. Look at this. When I say sell something, can I be honest with you? Because I like to just kind of keep stuff all the way 100. If you go to my house right now and you go into one of the 4 bedrooms, we'll just say bedroom number 2 has a closet just of all Nike sweatsuits. And then bedroom number 2 closet over here has all Adidas. Like, it's bad. I'm a shopaholic and I'm really bad. And I've got to stop. And I have stopped. Haven't been in the store shopping for shit in I don't know when. I've got to get rid of some of that shit. And I don't know that I want to wait till I have a little garage sale up here at the school, or if I just want to take the shit out of my closets and get it sold. Peep this. I have sold my clothes to Plato's Closet. I have sold my clothes to Uptown Cheapskate. There is also a way to sell clothes to Clothes Mentor. And you can sell your clothes to Avalon Exchange. Now, you're going to want to look those up for yourself. I personally have gotten money for my clothes at those places. And I'm not just talking clothes. I'm talking Ugg boots. I'm talking Nikes, barely worn. I don't even know why I bought them. I'm talking about, what else? Purses. Now, let me just say something about the bag, because some of y'all, you may not know. There are 2 bags that appreciate in value. You may not want to sell those. The 2 bags that appreciate in value, Louis Vuitton and Chanel. I'm not really selling my Chanel or my Louis. I'm not. Yeah. Okay. I just said I have a limit. I'm just saying, you might not have a limit. Maybe you want to go ahead and sell it. It's going to appreciate. You'll get a lot of money for it. Just saying. Some other ways to make money other than selling something is to cut something or pause something. Can I tell you, I realize your ass ain't never home. When you're home, you never watch TV. You got 4 or 5 TVs around here with cable on it, and you ain't doing none of it. Honey, I paused that AT&T so fast it wasn't funny. I paused it indefinitely, okay? Because y'all was pulling out all kind of crazy money out of my account, and I'm like, oh, hell to the no, not going to happen. So if you want to pause some of your subscription services, your streaming services, I stopped that Healthy Fresh, what is it, Hello Fresh meal prep. I ain't never home. It was just collecting and I wasn't even able to cook all that shit. I paused that, I got rid of that. I mean, just let's look at what we can get rid of. Let's look at something else. You might be like me. I like to have a lot of irons in the fire just because I want to make sure I don't get too comfortable anywhere, because I've seen how bosses can be. They can be assholes. So you might want to get a PRN job, either at a long-term care facility. You can also do home care on the side. I'm talking to you nurses. You can also start where I started. Do you know that this big conglomeration of a corporation started as tutoring in the waiting room at my OBGYN office for my patients? Yeah, I would see patients till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Once my patient care was done, I would tutor nursing students in the waiting room to get them to pass their NCLEX or their nursing class or whatever. Once you've been a nurse, you can help any nursing student, trust me. So think about tutoring. It brings you good money. Or maybe you're like me. Maybe you don't want to tutor directly, but you think you have something really cool to share online. YouTube pays the best. I'm here, aren't I? They pay really well. I'm excited to be a YouTube partner. Didn't think it would happen this fast. Just opened up my channel a couple years ago. It's taken off. I'm thrilled. I'm getting paid. Maybe you have so much to offer, you can do a YouTube podcast show. Just open up your mind to thinking, what else can I do? Maybe it's consulting, maybe even legal consultant. You don't know until you just reach out there and try. You've got to make some money and you gotta make it now. What else can you do? Well, I don't know if you're open to this, but your kids should be. Your husband might be, your flavor of the month could be, and this is a family affair. We all need to hustle and grind, baby. Uber, Lyft, common sense. But one that I don't know that you know about is Amazon Flex. Put that app on your phone because they just have you get paid the same day for picking up a package and delivering it. Are you serious? That's all I gotta do? Pick up the package, snap a picture on that deck, and just deliver. Amazon Flex, baby. My daughter makes a shitload of money doing Instacart. She's been able to bring tons of money home every week with Instacart and be there for her baby, my grandbaby. DoorDash. You know you're out here doing the shit. You need to cut it out. But since you door dashing, so is everybody else. Now the shit was supposed to be for COVID, but you see where we at with it. So go on, do some DoorDash. Don't just suck it up and get it delivered. Get out here and deliver it. Courier services. I remember my dad doing this on the side. I remember my dad taking envelopes, mail really, and taking it from one company to another. Thumbtack app. Put that shit on your phone, not because you need some services, but because you want to provide some services. What kind of services are through Thumbtack? Well, house cleaning, movers, painting, lawn care. It may not be right for you, but it might be right for your boo. We in this together, boo. Now, Let me just remind you of something as I prepared to leave this video that was on baby step number 1, building an emergency fund. Here we go. I want to remind you of what I told you last week, because, you know, as in Corinthians, repetition is good for the soul. Remember what got millionaires to where they are. Most millionaires did not get left a shitload of money. Oh no. Most millionaires for 2024, 23, 22, 21 made their millions through their 401k or their 403b. In other words, investing at your job, your little job's retirement program. They paid off their house in 12 years. There's that 12 years a millionaire again. They were small business owners, which is why I say get you some business. They definitely were credit card debt free, which is where I'm trying to get you. 80% never leased a car. Car leasing is a bunch of bullshit. Stop it right away. I don't lease cars. 71% never had a student loan. That's why I'm trying to get you to set it up for your kids so they don't suffer like us. And their average age is 52. I think you can do this. It worked for me. It can work for you. I woke up to a fucking broken furnace. Emergencies come. Get your ass an emergency fund and quit playing. Deuces.